We all know tropical islands promise palm-fringed beaches and tea estates, but this little island hides a mountain pilgrims still climb barefoot to touch a sacred footprint that some say belongs to Buddha and others to Adam. Elsewhere, a 1930s railway bridge of 9 stone arches carries trains without a single steel girder, sounding like a ghostly heartbeat through the jungle. Yala rock rises out of Sri Lanka's central highlands, where a rare convergence of montane cloud forest and lowland tropical valleys creates unique microclimates. Do you know Yala rock's slopes cradle endemic plant communities and relic cloud forest fragments that survived the island's ice age droughts? The trail from Yala town climbs through misty tea terraces and ancient jungle, each step revealing why local stories speak of spirits and hidden springs. From the summit, hikers can trace ridgelines toward Little Adams Peak and, on exceptionally clear days, glimpse the distant curve of the southern coast. Yala Rock is more than a viewpoint. It's a living junction between plantation history and wild highland ecology, where colonial-era tea paths double as wildlife corridors. Along those paths, you might find leeches and leopard tracks, orchids tucked into rock crevices, and century-old trees draped in moss like green chandeliers. Downhill, the landscape folds into the patchwork of tea estates at Demodara, whose famous 9-arch bridge threads rails through emerald slopes, a short journey that feels like stepping between time periods. Guides will tell you how trains climbing from Nuwara Eliya to Yala pass under arches carved during the British era, linking the island's plantation economy to the highland wilderness. At dawn, fog pours over ravines in slow motion, turning Yala Rock's silhouette into a mysterious island of stone and tree. Local villagers collect wild honey and medicinal herbs from the foothills, trade that binds mountain livelihoods to markets in Kandy and beyond. Follow the ridge southeast, and the terrain opens onto pockets of cloud-soaked grassland, where endemic bird species perform territorial drills at first light. Conservationists watch these areas closely because each fragment is a refuge for species that vanished elsewhere on the island. Arugam Bay's crescent, opens onto one of the world's longest continuous reef-protected right-hand surf breaks, producing rides that can stretch for hundreds of meters. Do you know Arugam Bay supports not only surfers chasing perfect barrels, but also a seasonal run of olive ridley and green turtles that nest on its quiet sands? The bay's sheltered lagoon and nearby mangroves create a rare coastal mosaic where saltwater and freshwater meet, nurturing birds and juvenile fish. From the jagged silhouette of Elephant Rock, the swell funnels along ancient coral ledges, linking the surf to the inland pistol-shaped wetlands where buffalo graze at dusk. Local fishermen still navigate by the same star patterns and tidal memory that guided their ancestors, bringing a rhythm that ties coast to culture. This human coastline pulses into the cane and palmyra thatch of nearby villages, and from there, the road climbs toward the dry zone ruins of the east, making Arugam Bay a hinge between sea and history. When the monsoon relents, lagoons awaken and migratory birds arrive in waves, turning reed beds into a shifting carpet of color and sound. That seasonal floodplain feeds into river channels that once carried traders and now connect Arugam Bay's story to the ancient ports of the southern coast. Surfers share lineups with herons and kites, and at low tide, the exposed sandbars become classrooms for local guides, teaching visitors about coral regeneration and turtle protection. Conservationists juggle tourism and fragile ecology here, showing how sustainable waves can support livelihoods while protecting nesting beaches. Connecting the bay to the next stop, the inland salt marsh pathways guide travelers toward the rugged cliffs and national parks that cradle the island's untamed heart. And as waves break here, they send a story westward, inviting you to trace currents and roads that reveal even stranger, older secrets beyond the shoreline. In the early morning, the lighthouse-like silhouette of local fishermen casting nets against the pink horizon seems eternal, yet every net conceals stories of changing currents and shifting reefs. Those stories thread into conservation camps and boutique guest houses where researchers and surfers exchange notes, ensuring Arugam Bay remains both playground and protectorate. From the mist-clad tea hills, we glide down the coast to a town where time seems to fold into itself, Galle Fort, on Sri Lanka's southern tip. Perched on an outcrop of black rock and washed by the Indian Ocean, the fort is one of Asia's most complete colonial fortifications. Carved stone ramparts curve like the spine of a sleeping giant, and at low tide reveal tidal pools teeming with crabs and strange coral formations. Do you know the walls you walk today were enlarged by Dutch engineers in the 17th century to defend spices, silk, and treasure lanes that once stitched this island to Europe? Inside the fort, a lane of bougainvillea-draped cottages, faded shopfronts, and hidden courtyards stitches together Portuguese, Dutch, British, and local traces. You can still read centuries-old inscriptions on tombstones in the churchyard and smell cloves stored in wooden chests when the wind hits the spice shops. The iconic white lighthouse watches over a curve of crashing surf, but the real magic is in the side streets where artisans mend lacquerware the old way. Antique dealers swivel open secret drawers, and map-making shops keep hand-drawn charts that whisper of sailors lost to storm and moonlight. Stay until night, and you'll hear the sea speaking in a dialect of bells and gulls, while lanterns outline the old walls. In the morning, the sunlight over the fort reveals tiny details you missed. Brass numbers, faded murals, a maker's signature carved into a door frame. Galle Fort keeps one more secret. After you leave, its image lingers in the mind like a book you only half remember, urging you to return. And that pull, from tea hills to fort walls, from whale song to cobbled lanes, is how Sri Lanka stitches its many faces into one impossible journey. At 2,043 meters, Sri Pada, Adam's Peak, houses a natural rock impression long revered as a sacred footprint by Buddhists, Hindus, Muslims, and Christians. Do you know Sri Pada can produce a towering triangular shadow at sunrise that seems to point the way to the heavens above the sea of clouds? Pilgrims climb through tea-scented hills and misty forests along steps worn smooth by centuries of devotion. Along the path, century-old lamps glow beside carved stone shelters where stories of miracles and pilgrim ghosts are still told. At night, the trail becomes a river of headlamps, and the summit transforms into an altar under the stars. The shared reverence makes Sri Pada one of the rare places on Earth where faiths collide and coexist above the clouds. Naturalists are captivated too, because the peak sits within a biodiversity hotspot with endemic orchids and rare bird calls that vanish with dawn. Those ecological pockets explain why certain orchids and frogs exist nowhere else on Earth. Descending, you carry more than tired muscles. You carry fragments of stories, thunderous sunrise shadows, and the peculiar intimacy of shared belief. Sri Pada remains a place where nature, myth, and human determination converge on a single, impossible footprint. For photographers, it's the geometry of light and faith. For pilgrims, it's a fulfillment. For the curious, it is an invitation to step into a living paradox. No matter your reason, the climb leaves a trace, not in the stone, but in how you measure distance, devotion, and the sky. Mist clings to the emerald slopes of Nuwara Eliya, where tea terraces ripple like green oceans. Do you know Nuwara Eliya sits at over 1,800 meters, making it one of the few tropical highlands that can see frost? Here, small white bungalows and colonial red brick cottages stand beside manicured gardens that recall a different era. The cool air sharpens flavors, and local farmers say morning frost can coax a sweeter note from the tea leaves. Walk through rows of Camellia sinensis, and you will meet women plucking with quick, practiced hands, their baskets already heavy. Each leaf is the first link in a chain that leads to a cup savored around the world. Beyond plantations, Galle Botanical Gardens hides rare orchids and a fernery shaped by the mountain climate. At Gregory Lake, afternoon light turns water into a glassy mirror, while pedal boats slide across with polite ripples. Strawberry farms tucked into valley corners yield tart berries that inspire jam stalls and roadside vendors. Vendors steam hot cinnamon spice tea and hand you a cup that feels like a small ceremony. Nuwara Eliya is also the springboard to Horton Plains, where grasslands fall away to the dramatic cliff known as World's End. Hikers rise in the dark to catch that line between cloud and land that seems to split the world. The famous hill rail journey threads through tunnels and viaducts, promising scenes that wind up into mist and moss. Travelers who board in Kandy say the carriage becomes a moving postcard of serrated hills and plumes of steam. Birdsong fills the gullies, and endemic species shelter in pockets of cloud forest that cling to higher ridges. Local guides point out subtle signs, like the taste of water and the angle of morning light, that mark microclimates. As daylight softens, tea estates fold into purple shadows, and gas lamps in town begin their old-fashioned glow. A final cup by a stone fireplace tells you why this cool corner of the tropics has held hearts for generations. Jaffna Peninsula's shoreline is one of the world's rarest coastal tapestries, where blood-orange sunsets meet coral rubble and mile-long sand spits that reconfigure with each monsoon. Do you know that the peninsula's tiny islands, like Delft and Karaitivu, hold fossilized coral formations and freshwater wells whose salinity shifts with the tides? Beyond the long golden stretches, the beaches host migratory waders and flamingo flocks that map the coast in living blots of pink. From these sands, you can see the silhouette of the Palk Strait and limestone ridges that point inland toward ancient fort towns. Fishermen ply shallow lagoons in slender catamarans, using techniques handed down through generations to skim shrimp and sea cucumbers from tidal flats. Their morning harvest travels along routes that tie Jaffna's shore to markets around the island, a maritime thread connecting distant coasts. Offshore, Delft Island's famous wild ponies graze on sparse grasses atop fossilized coral, a living oddity that hints at the peninsula's geological past. Tidal pools here sometimes shimmer with bioluminescence on still nights, turning nocturnal walks along the beach into luminous passages. Salt pans and Dutch-era fortifications hug the coastline, their weathered stones bearing silent witness to centuries of trade and conflict. Crossing from soft sand to crumbling bastion, you sense how Jaffna's shoreline guided sailors and merchants into the island's northern heart. Today, community-led restoration projects repair eroded dunes and replant native casuarina belts, mending the beaches back toward the inland wetlands. Those efforts create vital corridors for nesting turtles and shorebirds, linking the Jaffna coast to protected bays and estuaries nearby. At dawn, the air tastes of brackish blooms and frying fish, and by afternoon, winds fill the sky with kites, while roadside stalls sell dried prawns and chilies. On clear days, the faint silhouette of India across the Palk Strait appears on the horizon, a geographical whisper of what lies beyond. From these beaches, a short ride or ferry will take you to ancient temples, salt flats, and mangrove labyrinths, so each stretch of sand acts as a gateway to further discoveries. To walk Jaffna's coast is to read layers of time, coral, colonizers, fishermen, festivals, and resilience etched into every grain. And those grains will lead us inland to the next hidden wonder. Perched deep within the emerald folds of Yala's tea country, the Nine Arches Bridge spans a jungle-lined valley with 9 perfect stone arches that seem to float in mid-air. Many visitors don't know that local lore insists the bridge was raised with little or no steel, relying instead on thousands of hand-laid bricks and the ingenuity of early 20th century engineers. When a slow, squealing train rounds the bend and crosses its span, the valley fills with a living cinematic moment that draws crowds from nearby trails. The sound of wheels on iron is as much a part of the experience as the moss-clad arches and the tea estates that tumble down the slopes. Walk the short, winding path from Yala Station, and you arrive at a viewpoint framed by coconut palms and the distant curve of Little Adams Peak. From here, the bridge becomes the hinge between 2 contrasting landscapes, manicured tea terraces and wild pockets of rainforest, and between the old colonial railways and the rhythms of village life. Architecturally, the bridge is deceptively simple, each arch mirroring the next in a sequence that feels sculpted from the hill itself. Closer inspection reveals hand-cut stones and the patina of lichen, evidence of a structure that seems to age with grace rather than decline. Photographers time their visits for the golden hour, when shafts of light slice through morning mist and trains become silhouettes against the arches. Standing beneath the highest arch, you can feel the pulse of trains passing overhead and the layered history of colonial ambition, local labor, and modern tourism colliding in a single place. It's why some travelers linger for hours, shifting between silence and celebration as each train arrives like a ritualized heartbeat. From Nine Arches, a short hike brings you to tea factories where you can taste fresh Ceylon tea and trace the journey from leaf to cup, linking landscape, labor, and flavor. This interplay of engineering, ecology, and everyday life is what makes the bridge more than an image. It's a connective tissue in Sri Lanka's mountainous narrative. As the sun dips, villagers return along the same paths that tea pickers follow in the morning, and the bridge glows like a relic reclaimed by the hills. Passing through here is a reminder that even small pieces of infrastructure can hold stories big enough to reshape how you see a place. Leaving the ancient ramparts behind, the coastline opens into Mirissa Beach, a crescent of golden sand framed by palm-clad headlands. Here, the ocean does something rare. It becomes a magnet for blue whales and spinner dolphins that gather off the shore in seasons undreamed of in most tropical beaches. Local fishermen still use traditional stilt fishing posts at dusk, balancing on narrow poles perched above shallow waves, a practice passed down for generations. But Mirissa's rhythm changes at sunrise, when sleek whale-watching boats slice the glassy sea in search of the giants that traverse the deep currents. What few visitors realize is that Mirissa sits at the edge of deep submarine canyons, creating concentrated food patches that attract the world's largest mammals. This unique underwater topography makes the waters here one of the most reliable places on Earth to encounter blue whales outside polar feeding grounds. Back on shore, the beach narrows into a natural amphitheater where paragliders and surfers read winds formed by headland thermals. Culinary stalls and tiny cafes serve fresh-caught seafood and coconut sambal, blending coastal flavors with spices from the interior. As day slips into evening, Mirissa transforms again. Lantern-lit sandbars and fire-lit gatherings draw locals and travelers into a low-key night. Yet beneath the revelry, conservationists patrol quietly, monitoring nest sites where olive ridley turtles come ashore to lay their eggs. Mirissa's small harbor is also where artisanal crews land seasonal tuna and handline-caught treasures, preserving a way of life threatened by industrial fleets. Community-led programs run beach cleanups and education drives, teaching new generations to read tides and respect migration routes. If you wake before dawn, the horizon can erupt in steam and spray as a blue whale exhales, a sound that seems too deep to belong to our world. That raw, physical reminder of scale, a spout, a fluke, a slow turn, reframes how you see this coastline and the vast ocean beyond. Inside Kandi's Sri Dalada Maligawa, a single relic, a canine tooth said to belong to the Buddha, is enshrined within layers of gold and sacred lacquer. Do you know that Sri Lanka's Sinharaja rainforest shelters plant and insect species found nowhere else on Earth? A wilderness that influenced ancient meditation practices tied to sites like the Temple of the Tooth. Pilgrims file through cool, incense-laced halls to glimpse the shrine, and the atmosphere shifts from bustling city to hush in a heartbeat. The relic itself is never shown directly to the crowd. It is seen through ornate caskets and during certain ceremonies when its presence is paraded and felt more than observed. Centuries of kingship and ritual have swirled around this object because possession of the relic was once synonymous with the right to rule the island. That political power is etched into the building's layered architecture, the gilded walls echoing courtly processions that once determined dynasties. Daily pujas mark sunrise and sunset. Priests chant in Pali and Sinhala, and the beating of small drums creates a heartbeat that steadies worshippers. Golden parasols, fresh flowers, and the shimmering enamel of guardian statues offer visual prayers that renew the temple's ancient contract with the city. During the Asala Perahera festival, the relic is paraded through Kandyan streets atop an adorned tusker, connecting spiritual devotion with communal spectacle. Neighboring sites like the Royal Botanical Gardens at Peradeniya and the small lakeside shrines pick up the story, folding nature and ritual into one continuous pilgrimage route. Conservationists and caretakers now balance tourism with sanctity, guiding visitors to move respectfully as they trace the same stones walked by monarchs and monks. Diyaluma Falls plunges in a dramatic terraced cascade totaling about 220 meters, creating natural infinity pools that few waterfalls in the world can match. Do you know Diyaluma Falls hides shallow, warm pools along its ledges where locals and travelers bathe as the water gently spills into misty ravines below? The fall's name, which roughly means liquid light in Sinhala, hints at how sunlight fragments across its tiers at dawn, turning each pool into a mirror of the sky. Walkers who climb the gradual path above the main drop find a series of pocket pools carved into rock, each offering a surprising stillness amid roaring water. Seasonal streams feed Diyaluma from the upland catchments near Haputale, linking the highland tea slopes to this sudden vertical release of the mountain's waters. Local lore says shepherds used these ledges for shelter, and even today you may find tea pluckers pausing at the rim to drink from the pure, cold trickle. Beyond the pools, the rocks fall away into a deep gorge, carpeted with ferns and orchids that thrive in the spray zone, forming a tiny, humid ecosystem. Photographers chase the thin bands of rainbow that appear when midday light meets the spray, but the most rewarding view comes at dusk, when the valley exhales and silence returns. Access is rugged, a mix of dirt tracks and short treks, which keeps crowds light and preserves a sense of secluded wildness. After savoring the falls, many travelers follow the road downhill toward Yala, where tea plantations and panoramic viewpoints continue the highland story in a gentler register. Diyaluma remains one of those rare places where geology, local culture, and simple human curiosity intersect, making it a living, wet poem carved into the mountain's flank. Few places on Earth combine a 200-meter volcanic plug with elaborate painted frescoes and an ancient hydraulic garden system like Sigiriya Rock Fortress. Do you know that beneath Sigiriya's terraced pools and mirroring ponds lies one of the earliest surviving examples of urban water management in South Asia? Climbing its steep ramparts, you follow pathways carved into solid granite that once protected a royal citadel and its secret gardens. Frescoes of ethereal maidens, painted into sheltered caverns, have survived 1,000 years to whisper stories of courtly life. At the summit, the Lion's Paw Gateway still hints at monumental stone jaws that once controlled access to the palace above. Archaeologists have unearthed terraces, mirror walls, and ingeniously engineered reservoirs that kept the citadel lush during dry seasons. Every level of Sigiriya reads like a layered manuscript of ambition, defense, and artistic vision set against the flat plains of the cultural triangle. Sigiriya thus becomes more than a climb. It is a hinge that links natural spectacle to human ingenuity across Sri Lanka's island heart. To truly understand Sigiriya is to feel how geology, art, and engineering converged to create a singular landscape, both defensive and dreamlike. Stay with us, and we will trace those water channels, read the mirror wall poems, and reveal the stubborn secrets hidden in its granite veins. Leaving the mist-washed tea terraces behind, the road leads to Yala National Park, a mosaic of dry scrub, lagoons, and granite outcrops that shelters one of the world's densest leopard populations. In a landscape where ancient rock outcrops puncture the horizon and tidal flats gleam like mirrors, predators and shorebirds share a fragile, sun-baked balance. Do you know that Yala is one of only a handful of places where leopards sometimes hunt by the edge of the sea, silhouetted against the surf as dusk falls? This is also home to sloth bears, elephants that move in slow, dust-streaked herds, and crocodiles that wait like living fossils along the park's river margins. Drivers in battered jeeps become translators of behavior, reading tiny tells in bird flocks and spoor to find the park's hidden spectacles. Every ride becomes a classroom of survival, where a flash of yellow in tall grass can mean life-changing proximity to the rarest of the big cats. Beyond the mammals, Yala's mosaic of habitats supports migratory flocks from Siberia and flamingos that stain the lagoons pink in the wet season. Ancient Buddhist ruins and weathered chieftain stones sit within the park's bounds, reminding visitors that this wilderness has been part of human stories for millennia. Conservation here is a delicate negotiation between tourism, local livelihoods, and the rhythms of monsoon, and each ranger patrol reads like a chapter in a survival epic. Yet Yala's secrets extend beneath the surface, where termite mounds sculpt the land and perennial waterholes breed lifelines for entire food chains. From the mist-draped peaks of the Central Highlands to the coral-studded shores of the southern coast, Sri Lanka stitches together landscapes that feel both intimate and immense. Each tea-plucked terrace, ancient stupa, and bustling market tells a chapter of a story that folds history, biodiversity, and human warmth into a single, living tapestry. Sigiriya's rock fortress still holds whispered engineering secrets, while the ancient cities of Anuradhapura and Polonnaruwa reveal civilizations that mastered water, stone, and sacred space. Sandy's temple rhythms trail into the mist that nurtures tea gardens, and from there the rail to Yala opens views that make you believe the land moves like music. Horton Plains leads to a place where the earth drops away at world's end, and that vertigo of scale gives way to intimate encounters. Leopards in Yala, whales off Mirissa, and fishermen balancing on stilts at dusk. In Galle, colonial walls keep stories of maritime trade alive, while Colombo's frenetic streets pulse with the modern energy that threads the island together. Food, festivals, and the warmth of local hospitality become the true bridges between these places, turning travel into conversation and curiosity into connection. You leave with photographs, yes, but more importantly, with questions about how such a small island holds so many ecosystems, languages, and beliefs in delicate balance. This is a land where a pilgrimage can be both spiritual and ecological, where every itinerary folds a natural wonder into a cultural one. If you thought you had seen everything after a single visit, the landscapes and stories here will quietly insist you were only beginning to understand. Return to follow the migratory paths of whales, chase the scent of rain on a tea trail, or climb a stupa at dawn and listen for the continuity that links past and present. Sri Lanka does not simply reveal itself all at once. It keeps giving, layer by patient layer, inviting explorers to keep asking how and why. So let this journey be the first of many questions, and the beginning of a longer conversation with an island that rewards those who look closely. There is always another trail, another temple, another tide to trace, and the next discovery is never far from the last.